Salt.
Paul Salt.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
But first, coronavirus and the current Tier 3 restrictions have led to a massive disappointment for fans of one very famous Liverpool band, as well as the group themselves. Andy McCluskey, singer with OMD, tested positive for COVID-19 recently, and although he's recovering now, the band has had to cancel a concert in London planned for this weekend. It was meant to be a much-needed charity gig to benefit people in the music industry who are being hit financially at the moment. Well, Andy is on the line. How are you doing, Andy?
Hello, Mr. Salt. I'm not too bad at all, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Well, first things first, are you on the mend?
I am. I was fortunate that my first symptoms weren't too bad. I really I felt like I had a bad flu for about 36 hours. And then it's been like a sort of head cold and a bit achy and shaky for a couple of weeks. But last 2 days, I'm just feeling like I've finally got the better of it. So, yeah, I think, I've been one of the luckier people.
Mm. Were you, like a lot of people, did you start feeling a bit rough and think, I might have a few of the symptoms here, so you decided to go and get a test? Is that pretty much how it worked?
You know what the weird thing was? I did have a test and probably shouldn't have, because I wasn't displaying any of the three main symptoms. I did not have a temperature, I did not have a constant cough, and I hadn't lost my sense of taste. However, I felt really, really ill, and I just took myself down there and said, give me a test. I didn't think it was going to be positive, because I hadn't had these three main symptoms, and I still haven't had them. But it was positive. So, it just goes to show this thing is a very tricky disease, and it manifests differently in different people.
Well, definitely. It's a good job you did go and get a test, though. I'm glad you did. Now, of course, it forced the cancellation of your gig in London, which I know you were looking forward to very much, weren't you?
Oh, man, it's so frustrating. The reason why we chose to do this was obviously the people who really make the concerts happen are the crew, right from the people who drive the buses and the trucks to the guys who set up the equipment and all the people in between, the caterers and the loaders and the movers and the techs and the PA and the lighting people. All of these people haven't had a job to do for 7 months, and they're all independent and they're usually self-employed, so they haven't been able to get any furlough. They've been not able to access any of the government schemes. And so we just finally thought, we're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to do a concert and see if our fans will help out, and we'll see if we can raise some money and split it evenly between our main 10 crew people. But also, in the process of doing it, we hire a venue and equipment, and we employ another 35 people for 3 days.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on that point about the music industry and the entertainment business in general, really, I suppose, do you think it has been a little bit forgotten in all of this?
I think it was for quite some time. There's just recently been a package for smaller venues, and quite a few venues have had some handouts to try and get them through, because, the problem with music is, by definition, it's a mass gathering. So I don't know when we're going to be able to start doing this again, but there've been a lot of people who have been suffering, obviously financially, but, emotionally and mentally as well. I mean, it's what we all do. We all love being together. We all love the energy and the emotion in the room at that moment when everybody's sharing together that live musical experience. So it's been very difficult, and we were so looking forward to doing this thing tomorrow night, but we had to pull it, and it turned out to be sadly the right thing to do.
And even for yourself, I don't think you mind me saying, you've been doing this a few years now, and I would imagine you get an absolute buzz from performing in front of people. So in your mind, to try and compute the fact that you don't know when you're going to be able to do it again as you've always done it, that must be quite hard to deal with.
Yes, it is. I mean, listen, it's if all that happens to us is that we don't play a concert for 12 months, it could have been worse. We will muddle through. There are other bands who probably will struggle more financially. There are a lot of people who are struggling because they're not just not working and not seeing friends and people that they see regularly. And the other thing as well, Salty, is that, to be honest, we have quickly put together something else. So there is going to be something online tomorrow night. It's going to through all of our social media sites you can find it. There is going to be a sort of OMD live on your sofa version 2 with a few bits and pieces that people have never seen before. There's going to be some of the Philharmonic concert from 2 years ago, which was never available other than sort of people who were actually there. There was no DVD or anything. So there's a couple of bits and pieces which I think will compensate for it, but it's it's not the same as being there, is it? It just isn't.
Well, no, it's not. I suppose at least we've got things like Zoom and FaceTime, and we can try and make the best of it. You're probably, over the next few months, when you're better, you're going to get used to be gigging by Zoom, aren't you, really?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I really don't... I don't want this to become the new normal. I really don't want this to become the new normal. As I said earlier, it's that emotion and the energy in the room at that second when the band is playing and those people are there. That's where the energy and the feeling is captured. I don't want to have to start getting used to Zoom things. I will admit, I quite like doing business meetings by Zoom because it means I don't have to go all the way to that bloody London town and spend the whole day on the train and the station. So that's good.
Yeah, and on a more serious note, I know it has been a sad time for you personally, Andy, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. A close, long-time friend of you, Hambi Haralambous, passed away because of COVID last week, didn't he? And I know that's something that's hit you quite a lot, and that brings it home when it's someone you know and someone you've worked with and grown up with.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually the first person I actually knew who'd been diagnosed with this. And then I was diagnosed with it just literally a week after he was. And sadly, yeah, he never came out of hospital. His lungs just couldn't deal with it, and just shocked. I've known Hambi for 40 odd years. I mean, he used to play at Eric's in a band called Tuntrix, and Hambi and the Dance were signed to Virgin when we were, and then he created the incredible Motor Museum studio, which was a catalyst for so many of the musical artists, and before that he had the Pink, where Black recorded Wonderful Life album. He was a catalyst for making things happen. He got people together, as well as being a very talented man himself, and for the last 13, 14 years we've been working together. He's a brilliant filmmaker. Anybody who's seen us live and seen the projections that we've used either at the Philharmonic or just ordinary concerts, he created all of our live content and also filmed us. And he did a thing with me and Peter Saville at Fact a few years ago called The Energy Suite. So I am really struggling when it crosses my mind and I think, I can't go and have a coffee with Hambi and talk about some other crazy idea that we're going to make a film for. I'm numb.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear the news, but I'm glad that you're on the mend, and let's hope you're back performing again soon, mate. We all want that, and thank you very much for talking to me today.
I appreciate it. You take care. And so if anybody's got nothing better to do tonight, on Saturday nights, they can watch us showing all sorts of goodies through our web streaming. And we will be back on a stage near you sometime next year.
That's a lot of people. Saturday night sorted now. Thanks, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Salty.
That is Andy McCluskey there, of course, the singer with